We are back and we are talking about the FIA sacking Masi. Now, I know that that is a funny terminology that I have gained from you all down below in the comment section. I think that's pretty funny in previous videos. But in so many words, you want him fired. I think he should be fired. And at the same time, everybody, maybe people deserve second chances. And if that is going to be the case, he needs to be put somewhere where he cannot do said things that he did on behalf of Red Bull in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So let's get into this. The FIA committee meets, Christian Horner, Toto Wolff, they come, among others, Ben, the president, they come to a meeting. I think it's kind of funny that it happened on Valentine's Day. That's very fitting to me because, a lot of things incorporated with the Valentine's Day massacre. If you don't know about that, that meeting did not go so well. So I don't know if this meeting happened to meet the heightened level of bodies dropped in that Valentine's Day massacre, but of course, we'd hope not. But they say in here, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and I'm going to bring this up so we all can kind of follow along and see the content that I am also phrasing or referencing here for this video. But it says the FIA president led detailed discussion of the 2021 FIA Formula One Abu Dhabi GP. Feedback from the commission on matters raised with incorporated onto president analysts, and he will publicly present news of structural changes and action plan in the coming days. So, excuse me, I choked up right there. Structural changes. That is a key word, structural changes. So with that being said, that would lead me to believe that that means positional changes. So although you're looking for a total sacking of Masi, that may not be what is going to occur. He will be moved out of that position of race director. I truly believe that. I honestly believe that's something they're going to do. Will that satisfy a majority of us who feel that there was a wrongdoing, not only to just Lewis Hamilton, but a wrongdoing period that could affect other drivers? Like other drivers were affected with this situation. Like I know we're only looking at the two key competitors that had the ability, the option, the opportunity to win the world championship, which in this race, Lewis Hamilton definitely was that person. Max was the one who was gifted this championship. And I'm not going to fault him for taking that opportunity or racing in that matter in which that situation was made, which was a horrible situation. But I do fault Max for not having integrity and standing up as Lewis would have done. I have no doubt that if roles were reversed, Lewis would have stood up on that podium post-conference and said and admitted that the situation that took place was odd, it was wrong. Although I may have received this win, I don't look at it that way. That is something, and that is where Max is getting fault from because he went along for the ride. He jumped on that bandwagon thinking that he was a real earned champion. We're not talking all the races. Like, listen, you want to talk about, like, people want to take a small sample size. In the season, Max had more finishes, more this. That's fine. But are you telling me, like, Lewis is not going to get the respect for having that stretch where he literally started putting the pressure on? Like, come on, racing incidents, that's going to happen. But let's stop playing like Mercedes didn't do what they were supposed to do as a team and try to find those edges, try to find and extract power from that car and started gapping the shit out of Red Bull. That happened. This situation where Masi invoked a plan, a protocol, and then half-ass implemented it and then modified it on behalf of Jonathan Wheatley and Christian Horner. That's where things went extremely wrong. So he deserves to be fired in my decision. But if he's not going to be fired, he definitely needs to be removed from race director and put in a position where he can no longer affect a race outcome. Okay? They also talked about putting said positions in place or people in place. So that would lead me to also believe that Ben is going to move forward with a committee of decision, a committee by decision, all right? Kind of like similar to other sports. You have the head official and multiple other officials, and before they make a determination or a judgment, they come together on that field or in that playing ground, and they decide what is going to go, who all saw what. What did you see? What did you see? Why did you throw your flag? Then the head official delivers the joint decision. Now, yes, the head official will also have majority rule, but he's taken under advisement of several of his officials within that organization, and then they deliver what they believe is the best case scenario. Now, is this always 100% bulletproof? No, but oftentimes the right call is made, okay? More often than just one person having one perspective and then being manipulated by several other people to make a decision in the benefit of one team, okay? A lot of people say, oh, Masi had a lot of pressure. Masi had a lot of time within that situation to make the right decision. He made the right decision at first. And then he let Christian get in his ear, he let Jonathan get in his ear, and then he mimics and repeated and regurgitated the same verbiage that is fed to him to manipulate the race. So he deserves to be, not only if he's not going to be fired, moved out of that position. I like that. Also, they talked about the sprints. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth with this, but I know they were going to increase the amount of sprints that we're going to have. I love the sprint format. I do. I honestly do. I love the sprint format over the qualifying format to just determine the pole position for the race day. I think it brings on just like, because think about it, a lot of us watch some of the practices and we watch some of the qualifying runs, but there's nothing like a sprint. Like the sprint is fucking, it's like a race before the race. It's awesome. Now, I do know it can lead to the teams having to spend more money on budget, because in that sprint, people are literally hustling to get those pole positions as if they're already trying to get the podium positions. And that leads to wrecks, leads to other mechanical failures, and that could increase the amount of financial that the teams have to put into the cars. But for us as spectators, and I think for them as competitors, it's awesome. But with that being said, they were aiming for, I think, a number of 6 or more. That's not going to happen. We will go back to what I think we got last season, which I think we got 3 sprints last season, I believe, and I loved them. So I think that's okay. I would like to see the 6. I think there's some room in there to do that with the amount of races we have during that season. I think 6 is a good number, to kind of break it up throughout the season to give us a sprint like maybe every 3-4 races or something like that. I think that would be cool. So also they talked about the format and the points changing on what points, because in a sprint you get the points, and they talked about that. So there were several things that went on during this meeting, but the most important thing that is going on is the deliberation on what is going to be done about Masi, what is going to be done for Formula One and FIA moving forward, what is going to be done to make things right with Lewis Hamilton. All right, Lewis Hamilton, I think, has in some way still, I know that he said he's back, right? He's back. Does that mean he's totally back? Does that mean he's totally committed? Or does that mean I'm here, I'm reporting, but I'm also waiting to see what the FIA, what Formula One is going to do to see if they're going to at least recapture some of the integrity that I thought they had. They've lost a lot of integrity. That's why I say recapture it. I didn't say uphold it, because they've lost. They've fallen from a lot of people's favor. Viewers, competitors, organizations, period. At this point, there are entertainers who have weighed in on this entire situation. Formula One has lost integrity and respect from us as viewers. There are a lot of you out there that are completely delusional. And I would say you are showing a lack of integrity. I understand if you like Max. I favored Max. I like Max. Max actually was my third, kind of slightly second favorite driver to Lewis Hamilton. All right. I honestly, last season, I said, yo, Max is coming. Max is showing promise that he's probably going to be next up, but not this way. This that happened was not time. This was a scandal, period. So for some of you all to try to uphold this facade and this fake ass gloriful, like it was a gloriful championship, you're delusional, or either you're almost similar to those people who say racism don't exist, knowing goddamn well it does exist. That is what, if somebody tells me that racism doesn't exist, or that you're playing a race card, you either are so damn ignorant, or you're very informed and part of the system that is trying to oppress a certain group of people in your own individual way. You know for a fact that racism exists, but you would like to tell somebody like myself or others that it doesn't exist because you are still trying to cloak that. So you all are trying to cloak that no scandal happened to try to uphold the championship was just Unfazed. It was unaltered. There was nothing wrong with it. You're a liar. I'm not about being lies. I'm about being right. And to me, if roles were reversed, and I've said this several times, and it seems like I have to say it for you idiots, if roles were reversed, I would feel and I would be right here, same as today, because there's no way a driver that I hold in high regards, if I saw him take that championship without any context to it, Lewis Hamilton would have lost my respect for the person that I believe he is based off what I see from afar. I would be fighting that fight for every driver moving forward, and especially for Max Verstappen, given he was done the same way, but we're not. Those roles are what they are, and I still am voicing the support that the FIA and the Formula One do something about it moving forward, and also publicly announce that they did Lewis Hamilton wrong and cheated him out of his 8th world championship. That was a monumental moment that man earned in that race. Let's be for real. We heard the radio situation. Christian and Max both conceded in that race that they could not do anything about Lewis Hamilton's 11 to 14 second gap without the Jesus of defense, Perez, holding Hamilton up. And then after that, he still started gapping. So let's see what comes up in the later days. This is 2 days past that. I think that there's going to be a little bit more time. They definitely need to see how they're going to, announce it, what all they're going to say, what all they want to give us, how much fault they actually want to take, because I don't think egos that big want to really admit that they were wrong on such a grand level. They're looking at viewership. There's a whole bunch of shit mixed in there. But at the end of the day, let's see what they do. I did hear also, but I will make another episode on that, so I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to say at this point in time is y'all stick with me. I will be doing more reveals. No reveals coming up until Ferrari and also Mercedes. We'll be looking forward to those. Not as excited about Ferrari, especially if they just come out with the same red scheme. But if they don't, I'll be very pleased. I'll be very excited at that point in time. Excited about Mercedes to see if they're going to take a different direction or maybe revealing a little bit more to us about the inner workings of the car versus a bunch of fluff bullshit. And I don't know, maybe Mercedes might go balls out and just kind of like put on the forefront the bullshit that happened in the 2021 season and kind of make a joke about it. So we'll see. Y'all stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment down below. Let's start talking. Let's get some dialogue weighing in there. See what the many minds that always check in do. And like I always say, if you don't have any haters, you ain't doing nothing. So I appreciate the haters too. Peace.